Hey guys, Apoorva Pande here, and here's a quick video on product systems. Now, a lot of people, when they're growing a company, they start wondering, like, hey, what would happen if I hire a CEO? Like, what if I didn't have to do this and someone else could come in and do this? Well, that's what the founders of Google did. And when they brought in Eric Schmidt, the CEO at the time, when they founded the company, the first thing he said was, you have to have the products that can scale. And once you have those products, you can hire the sales and marketing people. Like there's a lot of them. There's very few people that can build products that can scale. Now, what does it mean, products that can scale? Right? A lot of people think it means like a fully fleshed out product that's self-serve that people just sign up and start using. And that's really not how it goes. Especially when you're starting a company, you're not going to get to the end state. You'll spend years doing that and you might not even get there. And so products that can scale are really structured in a very specific way for you to be able to service a customer while you're growing your company without spending the years in development. Okay. And so a lot of great companies, they have a really specific structure. And so we're going to go over the systems, the subsystems necessary to have that structure so you can have products that can scale. Let's get into it. So here's about 10 systems that we like to implement in companies so that way they have a product system and they have products that can scale. Okay, the first one is templatized onboarding. If you do not have a step-by-step process of what happens when a customer comes in, you need to implement that immediately. Just templatize that onboarding, step-by-step, have something lined up that you can hand off to your team so you don't have to be on top of onboarding yourself. Number two, templatized implementation, making sure that the product is getting the result that people want, the implementation of the product. A lot of bigger companies, we have a lot of enterprise companies in our mastermind as well, and we're helping them scale from millions to tens of millions. And a lot of the bigger companies that buy from them, they won't buy if the product's self-serve. They will only buy if someone's on your team is going to make sure that the product is successful within their organization. So templatizing that implementation process so that way your team can jump in and do it is absolutely necessary. The next one is a profitable support package. Most times when you sell a product, when you're early in a startup, you'll just do all the support for free just because you want the wins, but that's not sustainable. Okay. It leads to a lot of scope creep. It leads to a lot of lost budgets. It leads to a lot of lost profit, and you're not going to be happy when you get your company to a high level if you're still dealing with that. So having a profitable support package where you can tier the different levels of support you can offer someone and then charge them more for it will make you much happier because your best customers will pay you more and more money, and you'll be able to justify giving them more and more time. And so then you'll just spend more time with your best customers and be making more money all at the same time. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So this turns the startup experience on its head. So a lot of people that are stuck at like 100K, maybe like a couple 100K, when we implement this allows them to start really growing, getting to millions, tens of millions, but also selling like hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars for one sale. And, it's a nice lever to have. Next is a modeled hiring plan. If you don't know who you have to hire as your revenue goes up, there's a lot of uncertainty in the business. And you might have a product that you like, but you're not going to want to scale it. And that'll prevent you from actually growing the company. So we want to get rid of that, knowing what to do before it happens. After that's a talent acquisition machine. Can you attract talent at scale and then onboard them when you need them? Right? Do you have a pool of candidates to be able to pull from? Do you have a pipeline of these people? Do you have a pipeline of your engineers? Do you have a pipeline of your managers? Do you have a pipeline of your leaders? Do you have a pipeline to be able to get the right people at the right time? Next is a modeled employee equity plan. You usually can't pay market rate when you're at a startup, especially for the best talent in the world. The way you can get them is give them equity. And a lot of people at this stage ask me like, okay, what if I give them equity and they leave and like now I just lose a bunch of equity to random people? Have a cliff. There's a different structures you can have when you give out equity. And if you employ it well, you'll be able to attract much better talent. We've been able to attract people that have built hundreds of millions, companies worth hundreds of millions, companies that do billions of dollars in revenue, and they've been attracted to really small startups because of a good equity plan. And also, they want to start a band again. If you know how musicians kind of jump back into smaller bands in their lives, a lot of these bigger people do, but they want to be compensated for it. A modeled equity plan will solve that for you. Okay. The most important thing we see when people go from manager to operator is having employee KPIs and scorecards. Managers just have to jump in. They kind of tribally manage the team. Operators, what they make sure is everybody knows what they have to do, what KPIs they have to hit for the team doing well, and they use scorecards to measure that and allow the employees to get their own feedback before their one-on-ones or before the team meetings, so that way they don't feel like they have to talk to someone to perform better. Employee KPIs and scorecards will absolutely change the way your business operates, and you'll know if you're frustrated with someone because they're not performing, or if you're frustrated with someone because you're just frustrated with them. So it'll really change the way you scale the company. Have a current and future org chart, so that way if you scale too fast, you'll know where to go, and your people also know that there is a growth path in the company. People don't only work for production, they also work for knowing that this is going to help them get to where they want to go in their lives. A current and future org chart is huge for that. It'll also just give you so much clarity on what needs to happen next. You won't have to guess as you go up this scaling journey. Transitioning from services to product. If you only do services in your tech company to make money, it gets really rough. Transitioning to a product will give you that recurring revenue. And when you have recurring revenue, you have to sell less every year and it compounds. So say you're at 100K and you're doing services, you got to sell 100K of services every year. But if you sell 100K of recurring revenue and you have good retention, then over 10 years, you're at $1 million, and it just grows and grows and grows. And it's a big component of companies that grow fast, is that recurring revenue. So transitioning from services to product is awesome. Lastly is a system to have NPS scores and then generate case studies with the people that like you the most in an automatic way. When you implement this, now your product is now marketing itself. And it's only marketing itself with your best customers. And so your best customers attract more best customers, and it gets better and better and better. So having these NPS scores and automatic case study generation, it's a blessing. So these are a bunch of subsystems that will make sure that you have products that can scale. If you have questions on them, as always, put them in the comments below. Look around for videos on our YouTube channel, or just reach out, book a call, and talk to one of our people, and we can give you an idea of what subsystems you're missing to be able to get you to where you want to go. Cheers.